This is Fox 5 News Morning.
Right now at 7, we begin with Hurricane Irma taking aim at Florida and residents there bracing for impact. We've got team coverage this morning as Irma bears down on the U.S. Here's the very latest right now on Hurricane Irma at 7 o'clock. The storm has gained strength as it heads through the Florida Straits. It's now a Category 4 storm with sustained winds at 130 miles per hour.
Irma hit the lower Florida Keys this morning. It is expected to make landfall this morning, taking a direct hit onto the western part of the state. More than 300,000 customers in Florida have lost power. Hurricane Irma has killed 22 people so far after hitting the Caribbean islands.
We get the very latest now from Fox's Lauren Blanchard, who is in Orlando, Florida this morning.
Irma expected to make landfall early Sunday morning in the Florida Keys, bringing major hurricane force winds to southern Florida before shifting northwest, with the Tampa, St. Petersburg area expected to be hit hard.
In my 35 years of disaster preparedness and emergency response, I have never seen a storm or a system that is of this magnitude.
State and local officials are warning residents who haven't evacuated to be extremely cautious, especially after the winds die down. That's when a potentially deadly storm surge is predicted to hit.
This is clearly a life-threatening situation. Remember, in Southwest Florida, the storm surge comes after the strongest winds.
More than 6.5 million Floridians have been ordered to leave their homes, but many are staying to ride out the hurricane, while others who were unable to leave are heading to already overcrowded shelters, doing their best to stay calm as the storm passes through.
We're stupid. We should have come to the shelters a day or two ago.
We'll all get through this together. I'm here as well. I was displaced as well, so I'm right here with you.
After it hits Florida's Gulf Coast, the National Hurricane Center says Irma will likely move inland over the Florida Panhandle and southwest Georgia on Monday. In Orlando, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
At 7:02, we are getting a look at some of the damage now Hurricane Irma has left in her wake. These are new pictures now out of Cuba. Residents cleaning out mud from their homes after storm surges drove 3 feet of water up from the shore. Now, the streets right now are covered with seaweed as that water this morning begins to clear.
Time now 7:02. Let's head to our Gary McGrady to get the very latest on Irma. Good morning, Gary.
Hey, listen, another Sunday morning, another hurricane, basically making landfall. Not quite yet. I mean, it's going to be probably within the next hour or so down here in the lower Keys, right between Key West and Marathon. I'll show you in just a little bit here. The eye wall is not. Look, I'm not going to say there's good news with this storm. There's not. Okay, there's nothing about this storm that's good news. But a couple of things to take away, at least from the overnight, as it moved across the Florida Straits. It's basically still technically in the Florida Straits now. But all this warm water here, we have not seen a rapidly strengthening hurricane. So that's a little bit of a takeaway. It could have gotten a lot stronger overnight. It appears that it hasn't gotten much stronger. The pressures are holding right about 929. So which I don't think is a lot lower than what it was when it was pulling off the Cuban coast late yesterday afternoon and last evening. So here is the eye wall. Again, it's moving right up towards the key now. The eye wall is starting to move. See right there? This is the most intense part of this hurricane right here. I just checked Key West. They're reporting a wind gust of 75 miles per hour. And again, they haven't gotten the brunt of this eye wall coming across Key West yet. This right here, the northern and the northeastern sector of the storm, this is where the most powerful winds will be. They're already getting the storm surge now coming on in. 7 Mile Bridge, that famous bridge, is right in here, okay? So it does look like leaving Marathon and out towards the lower Keys, down towards Key West, taking the brunt of this storm now. There's not a lot of measurement stations in through here, so it's not like we can pull a lot of data and say, oh, they're getting, sustained winds of 100 or gusting up over the net. But there will be destruction down here. There's no doubt about it. And then you've got the storm surge anywhere between about 5 and 10 feet on top of the ocean water there that's moving through the Keys, and it'll be even more extreme than that the farther up it goes. So again, there's the eye wall. I suspect that over the next hour or so, it will move right over the lower Keys there. Now, this is satellite imagery, not radar, satellite imagery. So still very, very impressive in structure. But again, we haven't seen, thank goodness, the rapid deepening or the rapid strengthening of this hurricane overnight as it pulls away from the Cuban coast. Remember, that was the the thought that down here with all this 85-degree water, as it moved over that water, it could get a whole lot stronger than what it was. Again, still very, very strong this morning. And you can see that eye tried to form overnight, and then it looks like it's filling in just a little bit. At this point, that doesn't really mean much to us. We just have a major landfalling hurricane here, and it will continue to move up the Florida coast throughout the day today and tonight as well. All right, so the winds right now from Irma, still a major Category 4 hurricane. Winds are 130 miles per hour, but the gusts in and around that eye wall are even stronger than that. And some of the gusts out here for southern Florida, too, are going to be extreme. 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts, maybe a little bit more than that would not surprise me through southern Florida here, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm. So you're going to have all of that. It's already causing power outages and a lot of rain. Let me show you the track here because it's shifted a little bit to the west overnight. So it looks like the bulk of the eye should stay offshore all the way past Fort Myers. It's still going to be real bad here through Marco Island up towards Naples and Fort Myers. And then it looks like it may just try to make another landfall there in Tampa later on today. All right. We'll have more on this coming up in just a bit. Back over to you guys.
Gary, thank you. 7:06 this morning as Florida's governor continues to call for those evacuations across Florida. The military now is getting ready to help in Hurricane Irma's aftermath.
Irma, as Gary just mentioned, has strengthened to a Category 4 hurricane with winds up to 130 miles per hour. Florida's National Guard is on standby, ready to provide aid along with several other groups. And Fox 5's Tisha Lewis joins us live from a Red Cross in Northwest D.C. with more. Tisha.
Well, we are at the headquarters here at the American Red Cross here in the nation's capital, ready to help and provide aid in the aftermath of Hurricane Irma. And also right now, as we speak, we know that they have 1,000 American Red Cross workers that are in the region where Irma is impacting. We're also made aware that they have more than 200 shelters. Now, as Irma hits, the U.S. Navy is also posting information about preparedness and safety. The Navy says it has 36 air station personnel holed up at a Category 5 rated facility. Storm surge is often the greatest threat to life and also property. It can also impact the evacuation routes. Take a listen.
And we here in Key West are under direct threat from Hurricane Irma.
Mandatory evacuations are in place across Florida as Hurricane Irma barrels its way through the Keys. 3 to 5 feet of storm surge are expected, which enhances the threat for drowning before, during, and after the eye of the storm passes. The Federal Emergency Management Agency created this rumor control tab on its site with information on how to help, fraud and price gouging, and vital resources.
Property is replaceable, but lives are not. And safety has to come first. Don't worry about it. Just get out of its way. My administration is monitoring the situation around the clock, and we're in constant communications with all of the governors, with the state and local officials.
The American Red Cross and other aid groups are on standby as Hurricane Irma is expected to bring catastrophic damage to Florida. The Red Cross says its priority is providing people with safe refuge. They've opened several evacuation shelters across the state.
We're doing everything possible to help save lives and support those in need. Again, we've never seen anything like this. Together, we will restore, recover, and rebuild. And we'll do it quickly.
A state of emergency was also declared in Georgia and the Carolinas. Also, we do know that some first responders from Virginia, Maryland areas and also the Virginia Task Force headed to the area, or if not already in the area, ready to help with the aid and also the aftermath. It's important to note that the American Red Cross, as does many organizations, says that the best donation you can give is a financial donation so that they can make sure it goes to where it's needed the most. Tisha Lewis, Fox 5 Local News.
Now, a lot of people are taking to social media to talk about Hurricane Irma. Late last night, President Trump tweeted this message. The U.S. Coast Guard, FEMA, and all federal and state brave people are ready. Here comes Irma. God bless everyone. And then there's this from Florida Governor Rick Scott. He was also on Twitter this morning. As Hurricane Irma begins to impact your area, it's important to stay indoors and away from those windows. Good advice from Rick Scott, Governor of Florida, this morning.
Of course, we're also getting new video in overnight. Now, this is from Miami, Florida. High winds there blowing through the city. You can see for yourself the force of those hurricane winds causing large waves, bending trees as well, sending water everywhere. Road signs, they're being battered. Look at that from the outer bands of the winds of Hurricane Irma, making themselves feel like it is 120 miles an hour in the face of those winds.
And take a look at this debris from Hurricane Irma. This is at a hotel in Sunny Isles Beach, Florida, just outside of Miami. The strong winds are causing some damage there already. You can see signs are down. The awning is down on some buildings. We'll definitely be seeing more images like these as the storm makes landfall throughout the day today.
Meanwhile, the island of St. Martin in the Caribbean took a second hit. This time, though, it was from Hurricane Jose. Now, thousands of Americans are stranded there. The United States State Department is telling them to shelter in place for now.
Now, celebrities who live in South Florida are also uploading videos of Hurricane Irma. Singer Enrique Iglesias, who has a home in Miami, uploaded this video on Twitter, and he wrote this message: Irma is getting closer. Everyone in Florida, stay safe. #Miami. We want to remind you that Fox 5 is always on. We will have continuing coverage on Hurricane Irma. For the very latest, just head to our Facebook and Twitter pages. And as always, the very latest is available on our website at fox5dc.com.
There's going to be a lot to see over the next couple of hours, next couple of days. Those early images are just the start of this as we continue.
All right. Time now, 7:11, coming up at 7.
Tomorrow marks the 16th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. Ahead this morning, we're going to be looking at what's being done this year to remember those who were lost in those terror attacks.